Let's talk about the three biggest takeaways from the Chicago Bears meltdown loss to the Cleveland Browns. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Style back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL, here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about that loss against the Browns. I know we don't want to talk about it, but we must. But let me tell you, I got some takeaways from that game, and they're not all negative. All right, so just sit back, relax, and listen up here because I got a lot to talk about this game. All right, so let's start with the first takeaway that I had from this loss. Okay, the coaching staff. The coaching staff is, undoing all the good that they've kind of built up over the last few weeks. All right, the winning streak, even though it's been only a 2-game winning streak, has coincided with Matt Eberflus and to a lesser extent Luke Getsy really, kind of shining and, having their guys play well. And that's why, hey, maybe these guys can save their jobs and keep them around for next year. But this loss against the Browns, a lot of it was on the coaching, right? Not going for a field goal before the end of the half. Just putting guys that shouldn't be in coverage, right? A defensive tackle against David Njoku. Like, there were things about this game where you just looked at it and you said, why are we pitching the ball to Myles Garrett's side? Like, what are these play calls? Like, defensively and offensively, what are we doing? And so, Eberflus and Getsy, instead of going in the right direction that they were headed, stopped and then went back in the wrong direction. And so, again, it's really, really hard for them to, kind of make a case for next year and moving forward if they keep having these type of performances, right? Offensively and defensively, the coaching was abysmal. And that loss, you can pretty much pin on the coaching. And that's what you don't want. And, Matt Eberflus being the head coach, I'm sorry, but like when you win, you get, the credit, but when you lose, you get the blame, right? That's how it works. Third time this year when they've had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter and lost. Third time this year. That ties an NFL record. That should not be happening, man. Now, look, I know Matt Eberflus has had his guys playing well, the defense playing well, but these type of coaching errors cannot happen. That was an evenly matched game with two teams that, put forth the best effort, but the game is one of the details, and the game was lost by these coaches, right? So that, to me, is the first takeaway, is that coaching went backwards when it was progressing the past couple of weeks. Takeaway number 2, Justin Fields. Did he help or hurt his case to be the starting quarterback of the Bears next year? Now, certainly the easy answer is he hurt his case, right? Because they lost, his numbers didn't look good, and you kind of saw some of the same mistakes. But I would tell you this much. Take a look at the opponent and put everything into context here, all right? Because I saw a lot of these articles and tweets, and I just got to address it. Number 1, the Cleveland Browns are the best statistical defense in football. All right, certainly against the pass, they are the best defense. So for people to come into the game and expect Justin Fields to throw for 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, like, that's kind of unrealistic. And I'm only saying that because nobody has claimed Fields to be an elite quarterback, number 1. And number 2, barely any quarterbacks have had that type of performance against the Browns. Virtually almost none, especially in Cleveland, all right? Brock Purdy, who is the quote-unquote MVP favorite, even though I think it shouldn't be a quarterback this year. I don't know why it's not CMC or Tyreek Hill, but that's another topic for another day. Brock Purdy had 125 passing yards, 1 TD, 1 interception against this Cleveland defense. Lamar Jackson, 233 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions against the Cleveland defense. Trevor Lawrence, 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions against the Cleveland defense. So my point is, this defense is elite, right? Quarterbacks aren't going to be able to play well against them. That's why they are elite, right? And again, no one has claimed Justin Fields to be an elite quarterback so that you can't be like, oh, Justin Fields should have put up elite numbers. We never claimed that. Never did. And this whole thing about Joe Flacco outplaying Justin Fields, look, I get it. If you want to go by the book, he did. And I've even mentioned that in the post-game recap. Joe Flacco had one heck of a game. But Joe Flacco did not go up against the Browns defense. Joe Flacco went up against the Bears defense. Now, the Bears defense has been playing really good football, really elite football past couple of weeks, but they are still not the Browns defense. They still aren't. All right? I'd be curious to see if Joe Flacco could put up those numbers against the Browns defense. So my point is, add some context here. And by the way, Joe Flacco, to his credit, has outplayed every Browns quarterback this year. He's playing better football than Deshaun Watson, who is the Browns' actual starting quarterback when healthy. So a little perspective here, people. So with Justin Fields, yeah, he didn't help his case. Certainly the loss sucks, but, obviously there were plays to be made out there, right? The Robert Tonyan drop, that would have added so many more yards, a potential touchdown. The Darnell Mooney Hail Mary. Now, I know the DBs dropped a couple of interceptions. I could play the game the other way as well. My point is, this game, at the end of the day, was an evenly matched game with two teams that were in neck and neck to win the football game. And I don't believe Justin Fields was the reason we lost that game, right? I think it was a very tight game, very close game. And I think it kind of came down to coaching. Now, again, Fields wasn't perfect. You can certainly blame him for certain things. But to me, it was not mainly him. And that is something that, we need to talk about is if the quarterback is the main problem, that's a problem. All right. And then finally, my third takeaway is I'm going to put a little bit of a positive light on this. The Bears are improving, right? Look, I know we lost, right? And the playoffs now seem like almost an improbability. I think they have a 3% chance at this point. But we were in a close game. We almost won it. Darnell Mooney holds on to that football. We win that game. And we're on a 3-game win streak. I'm trying to focus on the positives here just because of the fact that I know that this football team has gotten better. Now, they still have a ways to go, but every week we're competitive. Right? Every week we're competitive. If you had this Bears defense, this matchup with the Bears team that was from week 2, 3, 4, we're getting blown out. We're getting absolutely blown out, people. But we had a shot to win this game against a very good Cleveland Browns team. Again, don't undermine Joe Flacco. He has played better than any Browns quarterback, including Deshaun Watson this year. So this Bears team has improved, folks. They have improved. We still are, again, a ways away, but maybe not as far as you think. So to me, I still like the progress that we made, even though it's a loss. Someone has to win the game. Obviously, you'd love to win all of them. But hey, a good opponent, a good team, a playoff team, and you almost win that game. You almost beat them. That to me, again, I'd love a win, but that to me is a positive. This team is improving, and that's another takeaway for me. Is that enough for me to keep the coaches' friends here? I don't know. We'll talk about that. But yeah, folks, to me, those are the 3 biggest takeaways from the game that I got, right? The coaching certainly did go backwards. Justin Fields up and down again, but context is needed. And finally, the Bears team is improving. They are fighting hard, and they're playing well. Let's acknowledge it. All right, so let's see what happens here, people. Still got a couple more games left here to close out the season, and then we can kind of assess it from there. Mathematically still in it for the playoffs, so who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Give me your biggest takeaways from the Bears loss to the Browns. Leave a comment down below as always.